Hey, good morning, Horizon Church, and anybody that is listening in. Glad to see you. It's a Tuesday. Good morning again. I just got a notification. Okay, looks like it's working. Love technology. It looks like I turned it on and it said not connected. Well, I'm connected. Hey, good morning, Aaron. Oh, that's right. First day of June. Hope you guys are all well. And so I've been talking the last couple days that I've connected. I've forgotten, I shouldn't say I've forgotten the last two Tuesdays, but had other events intrude. So finally on a Tuesday, I'm here again. We've been talking about anxiety, and looked at the thumbnail, the guy sitting on the couch who looks pretty anxious. I've been talking about the fact that this the pandemic that we've been under for a year and a half, and everything else that we've been through as a country, the racial strife, etc. Good morning, Patrice. All of that has been really custom made to produce anxiety in us, and especially for people who might struggle with anxiety to begin with. Just briefly, I know that I've talked about this, so I don't want to rehash everything, but for the last year and a half, we've been told, we've been encouraged to actually be anxious. The message constantly has been to be careful, to wear masks, to social distance, to be careful of what you touch, and just everywhere you go for the last year and a half, the message has been to be anxious. But even more than that, part of the struggle has been that the alternative, the message, has also fed into our anxiety, in that not only are we told to be careful, but we're, when we got locked down, anytime that we've been locked down, and some people I know are still struggling. I know that there are people who are, I know people who still have not really re-engaged socially. And so that, we end up being alone, and that just feeds anxiety, that sense of having to be locked down, to be distant, to sit in our homes, to not engage, to not do things like not go out to eat, not go shopping, etc., things like that. So not only has the messaging been about be anxious, but then the consequences don't help our anxiety. They actually feed it, the sense of being locked down. And I guess I've been fortunate. Never quit working, never stopped doing things. But a lot of people were forced into situations, or who ended up in situations where they were very distant from people, and very much alone, and staying in their houses and not interacting and not engaging. And that by itself is something that it certainly doesn't help anxiety. It actually feeds into it. So another thing, I know that the last time when we chatted last time on last Thursday, I talked about the fact that love casts out fear or anxiety. And I encourage you to start doing things, to start thinking about being actively loving. It's impossible to be engaged in loving things and be anxious. Biblically speaking, love casts out fear. So I want to one more step I want to encourage you to do today, and actually I want to encourage you to start acting and to get engaged in things and to start doing things. Now I know that some people, it's very easy to come up with excuses for why you can't do this. Maybe you will say that I'm immunocompromised or whatever. And that's true. And some of us have issues that will keep us from acting and engaging. But here's the deal. When you're dealing with anxiety, and especially because of where we've been, it's better for you to start planning to move ahead and to start engaging and to start acting and doing things than it is to remain kind of wallowing in your anxiety. staying in your anxiety and doing nothing is comfortable, and it's familiar, and it's what you've grown used to, but it isn't going to do you any good. So I want to encourage you to actually come up with a plan to start, if you're struggling with anxiety, to re-engage and start acting. So 2 steps, and this is, you see Jesus actually doing this himself. 2 steps. One, the first step is just to admit your apprehension, to admit what it is that you're anxious about. And just say it out loud, put it in writing, talk to somebody else. And then to actually take the second step to move ahead. This is something that you see Jesus himself doing, and he encourages his disciples with this in the same way. For 2 examples I'll give you. Start with Jesus. On the night that Jesus was arrested, the story that Jesus took his disciples and he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, the olive garden, the olive tree garden. And he took them over and he prayed, and he said to them, my soul, in essence, he said, my soul is anxious to the point of death because of what he was facing. So Jesus went and he had a very significant prayer time with his Father. And in that prayer time, Jesus is simply confessing. I even hate to call it anxiety, because what he was facing is more than just anxiety. But he's dealing with the same kind of things, that same sense of, I don't want to have to go through what I'm going through. And he admitted it. He talked to his Father about it. He said, can't we find another way? But then what did Jesus do? After praying, he got up from the garden and he moved ahead. He faced what he had to face, and he walked into the circumstances that he was not looking forward to walking into. And so there's those various two simple steps. One is acknowledge and admit it, and then 2 is move ahead. He did the same thing with his disciples. There's several stories, but one that comes to mind. This is one of the stories that all 4 of the gospel writers include in the Gospels, in their books. There's a situation where the disciples are overwhelmed. It actually uses those words. The Bible uses those words because Jesus has been teaching crowds of people, several thousand people all day. Actually, it appears it's actually several days. And the people really haven't had a chance to eat anything. And the disciples are growing anxious about this. And so they say to Jesus, send them away, send the people back to get some food. And Jesus says to them, you feed them. And of course, that just, their anxiety level just escalates, because they say, where are we going to get food to feed, thousands of people? That's an impossible situation from us, is what they're saying. And then Jesus tells the disciples, okay, have them sit down in groups, and he encourages this. And so you have a situation too where Jesus is, in some ways, he's actually forcibly telling his disciples to confront their anxiety. It's the same thing. He asks them to deal with it, to acknowledge what it is that they're facing. We can't feed these people. And then he encourages them to act, tell them to sit down in groups. And then Jesus actually has the disciples act by handing out the food to all of them. So it's just it's something that you see biblically, just this idea of moving forward is better than simply kind of wallowing in your anxiety. Now, you're going to be very tempted for those of you for whom anxiety has really been an issue. You're going to be really tempted to justify kind of not doing anything, justify inactivity. And you can find a lot of reasons for that. But moving ahead is going to be better for you. So I want to encourage you to act and to just admit what it is that you're anxious about. Put it down in paper. And I don't know what it might be for you. It might be simply, I'm immunocompromised, and I'm afraid I might get sick and I might die. I've heard that from people. I've had people say to me over the last year and a half. I had one person say to me last year, I know that I'm going to die. I know this is going to kill me. That person, by the way, is still here. And as far as I know, never got COVID. If she did well. still here, and has even been back to church once or twice lately. But that was the thing that many of us kind of were facing, just that fear. So just admit it, acknowledge it. It may be other things. It may be things, and I simply don't know. But it may be, admit it, just deal with, say what it is that you're anxious about. What are your apprehensions? And then act, start moving ahead. So for those of you who, I'm just going to give you a list of 10 things I just came up with really quickly. 10 things that you pick 1, 2, 3, or do all of them. Things that you can do to start acting and start moving ahead. Even though you're going to possibly still be feeling that anxiety, you can do these things and start moving ahead. So go shopping. Number 1, go shopping. Go buy some flowers. Go buy some vegetables. Tomato plant. Get out there. Go shopping if you like shopping. Go to Cabela's. Go to Target. Go to a grocery store, wherever it is. I know a lot of the grocery stores. I've been to a lot of places where the signs that you have to wear masks are now down. You don't see those anymore. So maybe that will make you even more anxious to see a lot of people without masks, but do not let that stop you. Yeah, Kathy. So that's number 1, go shopping. If you're going to Cabela's, Kathy, let me know. I'll go along with you. Number 2, go hiking or biking, or go for a walk. Go over to Trexler Park, do the loop at Trexler Park. Go for a casual bike ride. Go for a hike. We did a long hike yesterday. I think Donna's especially feeling it this morning. Did a 12-mile hike on the Appalachian Trail. I've been knocking off sections of the trail for a while. I'd like to be able to do it all at once, but can't. But so I've now gone from Sunfish Pond up in New Jersey, the other side of the Delaware Water Gap, all the way down to Charlottesville, out at Roadside America out in 22. I've now done that whole section. So we finished it yesterday. So does that mean you're going to Cabela's, Kathy? I got some gift cards. So we got out for a hike. So a lot of people were out hiking. So that's a second suggestion. Hike, walk, bike. Number 3, go out for something to eat. Go back to a restaurant. A lot of restaurants would be good for business for restaurants. It would really help people. So go out for something to eat. Maybe it's just Dunkin' Donuts for you. Or find a restaurant. So go out to eat. Number 4, have people over to your house. Even if it's just, telling somebody to come over and sit in your backyard. Start engaging with people. Invite somebody over to your house. Number 5, go to an event. Events are starting up again, which is wonderful to see. Don and I, every year, we usually take different people to the Shakespeare Festival. They didn't even have it last year, but it's back. Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival at the Sales. It's wonderful. And they're back, and I know it's going to be slightly different. They're having an outdoor pavilion for some of the plays that they're doing, but they're back. So go to an event. Music Fest. I'm pretty sure I saw Music Fest was back. Mayfair, I guess it's over, but Mayfair happened. So go to an event. Number 6, go back to church. Or come back to church. I talked on Sunday about the fact that it's time. It's just time to get back. I know that some churches are still struggling. Some churches still are doing drive-in services, etc. We're back. We're back live, so go to church. Number 7, go for a drive. This may not sound like it's engaging you with other people, but it's still getting you doing something. It's still getting you acting. So go for a drive. Number 8, go on a mission trip in June. I know it's a long way away. Well, we're in June, but the last Saturday in June, on June 26th, we're going to Lancaster County. I won't be able to go, but we're going to Lancaster County to Mount Joy. We're going to be packing relief supplies that get used for people get used in bringing relief to humanitarian crises around the world. So go along with us on that mission trip in June. Go to number 9. Go to participate in, if you're a woman, participate in the Divas or the Breakfast Brigade. I did not get a chance to look at what their next events are, but I know the women at Horizon, they meet, and really they're meeting just to connect and to have some fun. And I do think there's a Zoom option, but they're back meeting live, and you can go to the website or check out the e-news. If you hopefully you get the e-news, Horizon's e-news, and find the next Divas, the next men's. The men's Horizon men meet Sunday mornings, first and third Sundays of the month. So that will be this Sunday. They meet at 8:00. So should you be a male listening, you are invited to participate that day. Again, they meet live. There's also a Zoom option, but don't do the Zoom option. That doesn't help you. You can be here live 8:00 Sunday morning and participate in the men. So those are 10 suggestions about things you can do to act. And this is demonstrated for us biblically. This is what Jesus did, acknowledged what it is that he was apprehensive about. What was it that, and again, I even hate to call it anxiety, what Jesus was facing, but it certainly was a kind of fear that he was dealing with. And he talked to the Father about it. He said, this is what it is. I want to find another way. But then once he prayed, he moved forward, and you and I can do the same thing. So 10 suggestions. You can find your own. I don't even know if any of those interest you, but move ahead. It's better for you to face your anxiety and to say enough kind of wallowing in this, enough letting anxiety keep me from things. And move ahead, start acting. And I'm going to pray for you right now that if this is something that you're struggling with and you're contemplating, saying it's time to get back, I'm going to pray for all of us that you'll find the courage and the ability and the fortitude and the strength from God to actually start acting and start putting the pieces back together. But do that. Admit it, and then act. Move ahead. Find something to do. Find something to engage. So let me pray that you'll be able to do that. God, thank you for the fact that you're present in our lives. I thank you, God, for the acknowledgement that even Jesus faced what the same kind of crippling struggles that we face. And I know, God, we see that Jesus often with his closest friends, he was encouraging them in those episodes that produced anxiety and fear in them. And he encouraged them to move ahead and to act. So God, I want to pray for anybody who's kind of plugged in this morning, anybody who's listening, or even listens later, God, for anybody that has really been struggling and feels isolated and maybe has even grown comfortable in kind of just somewhat like wallowing in the anxiety. It's familiar, it's safe, it's comfortable. God, I pray that through your Spirit, you would be encouraging those people to just straight out admit whatever it is that's causing anxiety. And then I pray, God, that you'll help them to find the courage to act, to recognize that even though we're feeling anxious and our body is giving all those signals of anxiety, God, I pray that they'll help be able to just take the steps to move forward, to go shopping, to engage, to hike, to be with people, once again, to be here at church on a Sunday. So God, I pray that as they do that, you'd help them to see that even though the feelings are there, we can act and we can move ahead regardless. So God, I pray that you'll help us in that. Anybody who needs it, I pray that you'll help and encourage us and motivate us, God, to re-engage and to get plugged in. And I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, thank you, Aaron. Anybody wants to give Aaron a shout out? And Kathy, let me know if you're going to Cabela's. So, or actually Starbucks or anything. Let me know. All right. Thank you all. Love you guys all very much. And see you Thursday.